This podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. It should not be used to substitute the advice from your medical professional or primary care provider. If you are having any kind of medical issue or emergency, you should call 911 or go to your nearest emergency room, urgent care center, or consult with your doctor.
Welcome to Healthcare Snitches. Welcome to Healthcare Snitches. Welcome, everybody. Ooh, child. So, we know we haven't recorded in a very long time, but here we are, 4 months.
Almost 5, right?
Yikes. We need to do better. Because this is therapeutic for us.
Yeah, but life has been lifing for both
Life
of us.
has definitely been lifing in a major way. But I digress. Here we are. So, before we get started, just wanted to remind you guys to please follow us on YouTube, Instagram. We're not on Twitter. What was I going to say? Twitter. TikTok.
Are we on
You
TikTok?
don't stop. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn, Black Planet.
You say YouTube?
MySpace. Yeah, say YouTube first.
Blackpeoplemeet.com.
Blackpeoplemeet.com. FarmersOnly.com. Wherever else. Follow us everywhere we are. All right, so let's jump right in because we are late and
CPT time.
CPT time. But we have two guests today. So Kim, I don't know if you want to introduce Karis since you
Yes, so Karis is actually somebody that I hired at work last November, and she's the best thing ever. She's such a sweetheart. So welcome, Karis.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you for agreeing to be on.
Yeah.
And then you want to introduce your BFF?
Yeah, so then we have
our BFF.
Well, my original BFF, Nick, has his full government name on the screen. I don't know why, but you don't take that off. Nicholas, we've been friends for 20 years, 21 years?
Yeah, about 20 years.
20 years, yes.
2005.
2005.
2005.
Stepped on the scene.
Wow.
Yes, my bestie. And so today's episode, and also the best thing that's ever happened to me, but today's episode is, I truly mean that, about dating. Ooh, child. So, very layered, but we're going to just go through some topics because I feel like we're all in different stages of dating and relationships. So it's dating and relationships we're going to talk about, right? So like for myself, I've been divorced for 3 years. I got married when I was like 24, so very young. My frontal lobe was not even developed. I had no business doing that. But I digress because that is over. So I'm kind of newer to the dating scene and newer to the foolery that's out there, which is a lot of it.
I heard it's a war zone out there.
I don't know about a war zone. They're probably not doing it right. It doesn't have to be all of that, but it's not. I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of the same as before when I was dating before I got married, but there's a lot more technology now, as opposed to just having the like social media like MySpace and Black Planet and things like that. Now we have all these dating apps. I feel like that has definitely complicated things and made things a lot more awkward, but it's the times that we're in. And then you have Kim, who is married and has been married for...
It'll be 21 years.
21 whole years, so longer than I've known Nick, just by a year. And then you have Karis, if you want to explain what your situation is right now.
So I've been divorced now for 3 years. I got married around the exact same time as you. I was 24, but I was with my ex since I was 18. And by 28, 29, that's when we were divorced. So we were together for a long time.
I'm going to teach Corey that she should not marry her first love. That's what I kind of did. And I don't recommend that for anyone. I think that you should like date and see what's out there and not just stop looking at my feet, Peanut, and not just settle down with your first love. That's just my opinion.
I could agree.
All right, Nick, what's your
situation? So I currently single, about to turn 40. My last serious relationship was about three years ago. So 2022, it ended.
So you two have been divorced for 3 years. Got it.
We've been divorced for 3 years. I've been in, I would say, probably, I'm 39, so I've been in probably three serious, I would say, like major relationships, whereas the rest have kind of been a few months here, a few months here. But I'd say one of my most serious, we lived together, we had a house together, the house, the white picket fence, the 2 cars, the dog. I cooked Monday through Thursday. So yeah, I mean, I've done the cohabitation thing. I know what it's like to pay bills together and, trying to figure out your life. But I realized at the time, later on, that was not the person that I was supposed to do all of that with. But took me a little while to figure that out.
Yikes.
All right, so
Whew.
we've all done the long term.
Yeah, we've all done long term. Okay, that's something we have in common. Mm-hmm. And that is not for the weak, because when I tell you, it does teach you a lot about yourself and what you want out of a relationship, what you can handle within a relationship.
And what you don't want.
Right, what you don't want. But it also, it ebbs and flows, right? So it's not always all exciting and like rainbows and sunshine, and you have to be able to tough it out through the tough times, the rainbows and sunshine, the boring. Somebody gets sick, somebody's parents get sick, parents are dying, all of those different things that happen in life. You have to be able to withstand that and be a supportive partner, because that is what life is about. I don't believe that we were meant to do life alone. I do think that we are meant to partner up in some way with someone and share life with them and help them throughout life, and they should also help you, right? Yeah. That's my belief. So with that being said, going into dating for me has been like, I don't know. After being married for so long, I feel like I show up like a wife a lot, and I'm trying to learn how to show up first as like a friend, and then as a girlfriend, and then when they earn that, then as a wife. But like maybe show the qualities of a wife throughout somehow without going full-fledged, I'm your wife, because
everybody don't deserve that,
and they don't deserve it. Just because I am a wife doesn't mean I'm your wife. I have to keep reminding myself that,
and I keep reminding you of that as well.
You do,
and Nick does too. We both be reminding you.
Lips are sealed.
Well, she don't listen, Nick. She don't listen.
Lips are sealed.
I'm a lover girl. What can I say?
No comment.
So, after doing some research yesterday, I came across a few things. And
what'd you come across?
So a lot of traditional strategies are no longer relevant in the dating world. Do you guys agree with that?
What are traditional strategies?
I don't know, like maybe just actually walking up to a person, because I'm thinking about when I was dating before I met my husband. Most of the time, it was like people approaching a female. Hey, how are you? Can I get to know you? Da-da-da.
Can I get your number?
Do you guys encounter that anymore?
I would say a good handful of times. But I will say I did a singles mingle thing in Brooklyn once, where you so like all these singles sign up to go to this meet and greet, and they had one side of the bar only for singles, and they gave you a playing card, and if you and someone else happened to match, which was the playing card was essentially your thing to get you to talk to another person, and if you and this person match cards, then you won some sort of surprise. So this card is what gets you to go mingle, to go reach out of your comfort zone, to go talk to this one, to go talk to that one, or to have someone come talk to you. And so that was interesting. It was definitely different versus like online dating.
Oop, Karis. Blink twice if you can hear me.
Oh, can you hear me?
You froze up just a little bit.
You said the card is what gets you to...
The card is what gets you to talk to one another. So, like, that's essentially what's going to bring you to talk to this guy or that guy to come to you and talk to you to see if you guys have matching cards. And if you don't, you end up talking anyway about something else.
Sound like something we would like.
Yeah.
We like to talk to people.
So how did that go for you? Did you get, like, did anything come of it?
I wasn't really interested in the crowd of people that were there. I did put myself out there and I did talk to people and they were very, very nice. Me and my best friend went, but I just wasn't feeling anyone.
Oh.
Okay. Sounds like fun though.
It does sound like fun.
It's an experience, that's for sure.
Nick, do you feel like people are approaching you or you are approaching them?
So, and I may not have said this, and I'm thinking about the setup, right? So, you know, in this scenario, I am Black gay male. So for people that are going to be listening versus watching the video, black gay male here, right? In late 30s, you know, living in New York. So technology, I think that's I think that's what I'm saying. So no, I think that there are so many avenues to be able to connect with people now. So like that's one of those things that I think that has allowed people to non-traditionally start a conversation with someone that they may not have encountered on the street, right? I feel like social media and apps give people courage that they may not have had on the street. I like both. I like the app approach, but I also don't necessarily mind talking to somebody. But it's taken me a while to be able to get to that point, right? Like, you know, you got to have some confidence about yourself. You got to be able to have something, right? And also be able to take either rejection or being able to be honest with somebody else that you're not interested in, right? And so I think when I have some courage, depending on if it's a puffy courage or a liquid courage or or just really
Oh, what?
myself.
Oh, puppy. I'm like, we talking about P. Diddy? Are we talking about baby courage?
We're saying things without saying things. You know, let's stick.
I got it. Picking up what you're putting down.
But no, I think it really depends. In my world, I would say I think that everything is really centered around how you look, how much skin you show, how you're, you know, do you have good skin? Do you have good teeth? Are you masculine? Are you this? Are you that? So like you're trying to navigate all of those things while also trying to figure out, hey, what's up? And so sometimes it's exhausting, to be honest. Sometimes it's just really
sounds like it.
It's exhausting. So,
it's a job. It's a full-time job to try to do it.
Yes.
I would say, just to piggyback off of that, for the apps, right? So like, let's just say you match with somebody on an app. You start talking to them. You get that part out of the way a little bit, right? At least you're speaking to their representative. So you're having like those initial conversations. They're not weird yet. You hope that they're not weird, unless their initial message was like, let me see them titties, which I have gotten that so many times.
I clutch my pearls. Jasmine has shown me hi, like just hello, and then they say hi. Do you like your nipples sucked?
Like literally, or hey, not even a hey. I want to lick your cooch. Excuse me?
I clutch my pearls every time. I'd be like, oh my God, I don't know how you do this.
But so I'm thinking like,
surprised because I've gotten the same exact thing and it's just like, are you kidding me?
Like your first message though, you're immediately blocked. Like, I'm not doing this with you. So then I guess that eliminates people easy because then you already know they're a weirdo, right? So like, no, thank you. Sometimes it's the third message though. It's like, you're like, oh, okay. But you start to have these conversations with people, right? And you don't know, they could be a 600-pound person sitting behind some keyboard talking to you. You decide to meet up if you ever do, because a lot of these conversations don't make it to your phone, like to texting or to talking on the phone. And then a lot of these conversations don't make it to, if they do make it to your phone and you meet up, they don't make it to actually meeting up. So like, I would say probably like 70% or 80% don't make it to actual, like, we have met up.
This sounds exhausting.
So it's a lot of pen pal stuff. We're talking, we're texting. If we get to the texting, it's either dry or it's too much. Somebody wants you to come see them the first day you start talking to them, and you tell them no. They tell you good morning. You say good afternoon. They say it's not. Or you say good morning and they say it's not. It's afternoon. You block them.
Oh my God.
Things like that. So while meeting people on apps is cool because you have access to so many different people, you have to remember you have access to so many different people. And those people, you may not bump into them in your day-to-day activities because they're not in your
area.
They don't run in the same circles as you. Yeah. And so now you're like cross-pollinating with people you should never been cross-pollinating with because they're not on your level in any way, shape, or form
at all. It's a blessing and a curse. I think it's a blessing and a curse.
Because it's like, oh, I wouldn't have otherwise met you because, like, I work from home. I don't go anywhere. if I don't meet you at Costco or BJ's, ShopRite, Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, these are all grocery stores. It sounds really greedy.
These kids like to eat.
Right, we gotta eat. Maybe a gas station. We pop out.
We're in Jersey.
Right.
So the gas station, they pump the gas for us.
Exactly. So if I'm not waving to you from my window at the gas station, but the gas man has tried to get with me too.
Yeah.
Then I'm not dating you, gas man. What do you think this is? Unless this is your second job.
Like I told her, he could be in law school, and this is just his little side gig.
He's a little too old for that. But there's like nowhere to really meet people, and we could take that. As I say, when we went out last weekend,
we went to a festival. It was over 3,000 people.
I think he said it was like
5,000
at this one,
and there was some snacks. Okay, because the way me and Jasmine was sitting, she was looking this way, I was looking that way, and it was some snacks.
Yeah,
but people look at you, they make eye contact, but they don't say anything.
Can you define snack for the audience?
Yes,
not the five.
A lot of them was salt and peppers. Okay. Because we were on
zaddy. We got some zaddies. With
but not pawpaw. Not pawpaw.
Yeah, just zaddies, not pawpaw.
Zaddy and a pawpaw.
Absolutely.
Which I don't know if we can get into that in this episode, but there's a difference. Okay.
So you could tell that old boy was a Rolling Stone about 15 years ago. Okay, because he was still a Rolling Stone, and they
he was a zaddy. He was a zaddy.
Okay. They would look at you and smile and keep it moving. Back in the day when I lived in Brooklyn, if they see something that they like, they are going to approach. It was no approaching going on.
So I even had one. There was an older guy. He had his nephew come up to me to say, "My uncle is interested in you." I said, "Okay, well, so
first of all, the unc's teeth.
Stop it."
The unc's teeth was not working.
I'm not doing this with you. Okay? I'm not.
Nick. That was the unc's teeth.
And that is perhaps why Unc did not come up to me, because he thought that my teeth are not doing that. And he said, "Oh, I can't. I'm not."
I mean, to me, that reinforces the point of, remember I was saying before about like having confidence, having that, are you okay dealing with rejection, right? Like, you really have to be a person that is okay with that, right? I feel like I have many female friends, and I'm sure Karis and Jasmine and you guys can all attest to this. Like, guys, I think, especially straight men, can be ridiculous when approaching you, and sometimes I feel like you're like, don't speak to me, right? I want to have resting bitch face. Like, do not speak to me, right? And I have found that ladies experience it more, whether it's like catcalling or approaching or foolishness, more than in my world. And again, but it just depends on what you look like, right? So in my world, if you are muscular and you're doing all the things and you look whatever, you're more than likely probably going to get approached or not. I don't know, because I'm not, whatever. But I've found that I feel like guys are a little bit more aggressive when it comes to pursuing women versus in my world. And also again depending on where you are. So
yeah, definitely.
possibly because of those teeth as well, but you know.
Right.
I'm not jealous.
So during the research, they said it's a full-time job.
Yes. Oh, okay. They said that too.
And finding a loving, caring, faithful relationship is like finding a needle in a haystack.
100%.
You guys all agree with that?
I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
Because it's like if you find like the caring part of it, then there's usually something else that's wrong.
Exactly.
And if you find the other things, there's usually something else. So it's like you gotta. Nobody's gonna be perfect. So I think we all understand that, but you need to be clear about what you want, like what your deal breakers are, and what your boundaries are, and what your absolute like I cannot or I need this to be in a relationship, and if that person has that, right? And like that takes time to find out. Sometimes right off the bat, you can quickly distinguish that they don't have, that they're not potential and they're not giving what they're supposed to give.
So you say that. One of the doctors that I was following yesterday, she said checklist, right? That's what we all want. Like all these items on our checklist. Checklists can blind you of seeing a connection that's right in your face. So let's say on a checklist you have, oh, this person has to have a minimum of a master's degree. He has to be a minimum of 6'2". Like she is just saying having those checklists seem to be unrealistic. But I kind of disagree with her because, okay, maybe it is a little unrealistic, but you know what you want. You know what you want. And I don't see anything wrong with that. What do you guys think?
Ladies first.
So it's so hard because like I have a checklist too of exactly what I want, and I have found those guys with those checklists of what I want, but for some reason they're always lacking one thing, and it's like the one major thing that's heavy for me. And I'm just like, all right, forget this then. Like you have no emotional intelligence, but you got everything else on the checklist. You got the handsomeness, you got the funniness, you have the like that banter and everything, but where you're lacking is something that I really require, which is being emotionally available, like having that empathetic and caringness, and then you go straight into the garbage because it's like that takes some time to build up, that you can't get overnight, unfortunately.
Nick?
It's so funny. So hopefully I can disclose this. If not, we'll edit it out. But Jasmine and I have a reasons why they're single list, right?
Oh yeah, you can disclose that, yeah.
We've had a running list for quite some time. One of the things I think there's a difference between having a standard, right? A difference between knowing what you want, and a difference between, like, to me, this is just my opinion, having a quote unquote checklist, right? And so I think that if you have a checklist of things that are important to you and things that you like, deal breakers, right? I think that's different than saying like he needs to make this is just my opinion. He needs to make 6 figures. He or she or they need to be 6'8" and blah 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 blah. Like
not 6'8",
but you know what I'm saying. In other words, right?
Right.
Like so my therapist always says like it's okay to have things that you want, but you also need to be real. You also need to be realistic about what you are bringing to the table and versus what the other person is. So like it's one of those things of now, like especially dating now, I'm like, relationships are two people that are like, you got shit, I got shit. Can we make our shit work? Right? Like, can I deal
I
with
like that.
the things that you got going on versus whatever, right? So like that's how I kind of try to approach it now, of like not necessarily like what's wrong with this person, but like, okay, from a checklist thing, what's important to me, right? Like you need to be able to carry a conversation. You need to have a career, right? You may make less money than me, but like, what is your career and what's your end goal, right? So like, but that's something that's important to me on a checklist versus are they 5'8", are they 5'7"? You know what I mean? More than likely, if you're 5'7", we're probably not gonna match, right? So like, but like
Right.
that doesn't necessarily
It's
mean
not.
that like we can't be cool. Doesn't mean like
Mm-hmm.
I can't be like, what's up? But I feel like a checklist just needs to be realistic, if that makes any sense. Like, you know what I mean? There's certain
Yes.
things like
Yeah.
from a superficial perspective that's like, girl, like let that go, right? But there's other things that are like, hey, like, are you financially secure? What's your credit score? Do you have any STDs, right? Have you been married before, right? Like, those should be things, if we have a checklist, like, let those be the things on the checklist versus, like, you know, do you go
Superficial.
to the dentist regularly, right? Like, do you bathe
That's
on
important.
a regular occasion? But, like, these are things that people,
Sure.
you're more concerned if 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 he wears Jordans or if he drives a Benz. But I'm like, he could drive a Benz and be broke. So like,
And have gingivitis,
and have
And
gingivitis.
halitosis.
which is contagious, by the way. Let you know.
Gingivitis?
So
That's
yes,
another episode. But
if
yeah.
you that is another
Bring the
episode.
facts.
But if
Bring
you
the
are,
facts around dating, I love it.
right, if you kissing on somebody, make sure they don't have periodontal disease, right? That is transferable through swapping spit. Okay,
But
so if your teeth
is
are
that on
rotten,
your list? Is that on someone's checklist? Right?
right now my teeth are gonna be rotten, and I ain't having that. You ain't making my dental bills go up. Now I got a whole new set of teeth.
And implants are a lot.
They are. Shit, just for the one is $3.
I guess we'll be going
God.
to Colombia.
Exactly. So when's the last time you've been to the dentist?
So, but I think those types of things are important. I do have a checklist, but my checklist from the time, from me being 30 to 39 has
changed.
100% changed, right? Me being in therapy and knowing what I want and establishing boundaries and being able to communicate, it is 100% change from what it used to be. I would definitely say, and I'm not ashamed, that like a majority of my original checklist was all like superficial bullshit.
Like
It really
physical
was.
appearances and all this stuff.
It's like, oh, it's gotta have this and this, but it's also like, now for me, it's what am I bringing to the table, and can you at least align with what I am bringing? So like that's the way I approach it.
That's a good way to look at it.
That's my whole thing too, though. Like you can make a checklist, right? But you have to make sure that all the things that you're asking, you can also provide.
Yeah.
So I'm never going to make a checklist. I mean, aside from being 6 feet, I can't fucking do that. So like, I'm not, you know what I mean? But that's also not on my checklist either, right? What is on my checklist is like I don't want to feel like I'm a giant because I am already tall, but not for the reasons that most people say they don't want someone who's like on the shorter side or a man who's on the shorter side. What I have found is that shorter men tend to have a complex. And if I'm taller than you, now it's like I have to prove myself in another way, right? So whether that's being angry or tough or trying to one up on you on like what school we went to or our past accomplishments or this and that. When it's like
competitive and it's
I'm like, I don't want to be in competition with the person I'm with. We are a team. We're supposed to be a team. Like whatever you do well.
Not in the beginning though. Not in the beginning. You're not a team in the beginning. You are an individual and that other person is an individual. So you're not a team until y'all are
Well, I don't want to be competing is what I'm saying.
Right. But I feel like if someone shows you that and if they make it to your phone and if you make it to
if they make it to my phone and then if their name gets saved in my phone, that's when you know you mean something to me. If your name is in it. If your name's not in my phone, you're just a number. There's so many just numbers. Like
I'm in so much trouble because I don't save names in my phone for quite some time.
I don't either because I feel like once you save the name, that's when they start effing up.
You know what? That's true. That is
scientifically proven.
Wait, she said it's scientifically proven.
In my mind, because the only reason I'm saving your name is because now we are talking more regularly. And I don't want to get your number confused with someone else's number. So now I have to save your name. Otherwise, I'm looking back at a thread. And like that just takes too much work for me. But I have noticed that once you save the name, things are a little different.
Todd a little brings you the bullshit.
Yeah, it was a scheme set up that time.
Okay, so 78% of women want to date a man who is as educated or as employed as they are. And there is an imbalance in this, and it's referred to as the tall girl problem.
Ooh.
So, Karis and Jasmine, do you guys feel like you want somebody who is at least as educated as you are?
Yes.
And at least as employed as you are? What does that mean, as employed? I guess, like, you guys
Salaries?
work, you guys have benefits. You don't want somebody doing Uber Eats?
No. Listen, if you're doing Uber Eats as like your side hustle,
Yeah,
more
I
power
understand.
to you. That's fine.
Right.
But you need to have a stable, consistent job. You need to be you need to have a job every day, whether it's a blue collar job, whether it is, in healthcare, whether it is doing X, Y, and Z. You need to have a consistent job that's stable, that has a future, that has potential growth for you to grow yourself, or even like whatever your ambitions are, like you want to further yourself into. You need to have some stability. You can't have just being Uber Eats and then being like a street artist on this. Like, what are you doing?
I'm not Uber Eats and a street artist. This is breakdancing. Okay, so this is something that has actually been very hard for me. All right. So I would say a statistic I saw probably last week was that only about 5% of the population, I could be saying this wrong, but a small percent of the population makes over $100,000, right?
Oh, really?
And then when you whittle that down to people of color, it's maybe that's the 5%, where it's like 10% of people maybe make over six figures, and then 5% of those or something, 3 or something like that, are Black people or people of color. All right, so when you whittle that down, then you have, I think the majority of that probably is men making over six figures. And then, of course, then the women, I don't know, it could be half and half. But what I do know is that not a lot of people are making six figures. And in this economy, six figures don't even go that far, okay? I'll tell you that. Especially when you have kids. Then it gets even worse. Yep. So with that being said, if you have tall, what is it called? Tall girl syndrome?
Tall girl problem.
Child, I've been had that because I'm tall, but also my money is tall as well. And so, is that on my list? Yeah, because I don't want to be taking care of anybody. So that's first and foremost. And secondly,
that too. Mm-hmm.
Secondly, I don't want. It takes a lot to weed people out that feel intimidated by that, right? As a woman coming through, you're confident because how did you get to six figures, right? You got there because you make moves.
All your life you had to fight.
Right. I didn't get to this point because I sit in the corner and I sit back. No, I'm out here. I'm doing things. That's how I got to this point. So that's like a character. That's my character. And then the money comes with it, right? And so also I spend my money on what I want to spend my money on. So you're not going to come in here and say, oh, well, why are you taking an Uber Black? Which is not me. It's I'm referring to Nick. But
Nick only do Uber Blacks?
Hold on. We're not dragging me into this yet. Continue talk problem.
I'm not going to be questioned on why I have this Louis Vuitton bag or why I want to go to, about the car that I drive or whatever. Or I don't want you to be intimidated by that, at least.
And then if they come here to the chateau, the intimidation really sets in.
Yeah. Because they're like, ooh, this nice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So
I get it.
Will you agree that since you've been divorced, you have yet to meet somebody on your financial level?
I've met a few people on my financial level, but then they are lacking the other things. So you can't make it all about that, because then either they know that they are on a high financial level, or they pretend to be, which I've also met people that pretend to be. And I'm like, please just stop it. Like, please. They know that they're at a financial level, So they don't invest anything into their personality, right? So what I'm finding with a lot of guys these days, even if they're at a lower financial level, we have what is called now a male loneliness epidemic, is what they're calling it.
What is that?
It's just a lot of males feel like they can't get a date. If they get a date, they can't keep up with like having a relationship, and so they're lonely. They don't have friendships like the way we do as women, so they have a huge deficit in that area. And what I'm finding is that now that the modern woman is like making her own money, can provide for herself financially, this is something that we traditionally needed from men that we don't need anymore, right? So like we can go out, get our own bank accounts, get our own credit cards, we make our own money. We're
buying our own houses,
killing the pig, making the bacon, coming home, frying the bacon, okay? And so for us, it's really about having a companion, right? And so then what is companionship? Someone that has a personality, someone who is emotionally developed and mature and available, all of those things. And I feel like I'm just going to put it out there as someone who's a mom and someone who has brothers. I have uncles. They are not raised to be emotionally mature or available. They're just not. And I've seen it time and time again, right? They're coddled. A lot of guys, they are enabled to do whatever they want to do. And some just really don't even have a personality, right? And so now you're saying, I don't need you for money. What I need is for you to show up as a whole person. And they are struggling with that. The guys are struggling with that. They are.
Most of the things that good women want from men are totally free, and they can't afford it.
Yeah.
And the man can't afford that.
They can't.
Yeah.
Agreed. Agreed 100%.
And that for me has been the biggest struggle and the biggest gap that I've seen in terms of dating. So you'll meet somebody, you'll like them, you get along well enough. Well, actually, maybe not the biggest gap. I probably can't say the other one, but gosh, they're lacking. They be lacking.
If I could interject slightly, I do think that since we've got Kim that's married, Jasmine, Karis, you guys are divorced, right? You were in long-term relationships. Jasmine, obviously, you're talking about are approaching it, having kids. Karis, you have children? No children?
No kids.
No children. Okay. So I think that doing the long-term thing for quite some time and then coming back into the world of what you're seeing now also shapes your views, right? And also shapes like how you approach situations and what you look for. I think that it's not just a guy problem as far as people not knowing what they want, as far as emotional maturity. There are many people. So yes, men, but there are many women who are also emotionally immature, who are also
all right, thanks, Nick. I'm sorry.
That don't know what they want. Oh no. I'm just trying to provide balance.
Yeah,
To
no.
the
You're right.
conversation.
You're right.
Devil's advocate, right? On healthcare snitches.
It's true.
But
they be out here.
Part of I think the other side of that is like from apps to meeting in person, etc. It is, do you actually know what you want, and are we looking for the same thing, right? I actually was listening to a podcast last night. This woman wrote in and she said, I've been in a relationship with a man off and on for 10 years, 10 plus years. They are both divorced, right? She said she asked this man for her birthday of 10 years for Cowboy Carter tickets. And then apparently her birthday is right after, Mother's Day is right after her birthday, right? This man, her birthday came and went. And she said the plan B was flowers. He didn't produce Cowboy Carter tickets, nor did he get her flowers after 10 years, right? And I say this part of that to say, yes, I mean, clearly he's trash, but ultimately it sounds like two people that have been in a relationship for 10 years but are on two different wavelengths, right? And by that I mean, like, do we want the same thing, right? Do we actually want the same thing? And so I feel like coming across people on these apps, especially now, sometimes they don't want to be in a relationship. They want a pen pal. Sometimes they just want to fuck, right? And it's like, just say that, right?
Right. That part.
Versus wasting my time
versus Todd bringing the
tons of
bullshit.
people that
Right.
don't actually know what they want. And I think that, to me, is why you have the constant swiping, why you have the constant whatever. It's like, oh, this this person's this, no, this person's this, right? Do you, in terms of, and I think, Jazz, you said earlier, like, do you know how to show up as a person that is emotionally available, right? Do you know how to show up as a person that knows how to have a conversation, right? Like, how hard is it? Have you ever been on a date with somebody where you're like,
like you're the one carrying conversation the entire time?
It's supposed to be.
Oh,
And like,
child.
some people don't even know how to have a conversation. So it's like, this damn sure is not going to work out, because we can't even. You can't even
have a regular conversation over dinner, like.
Yeah.
So I think it really is people knowing what they want and being able to, like, communicate that. But most people don't. They don't. They know the picture, right? Right, they know that, right? Is the body bodying, or the socks on the beach socksing? Like, that's
I'm not doing this with you. I'm doing this
So-
with you. Have you been to a beach?
Have you
Is
been to
also
a
a
beach?
question.
Right?
Shit.
But, like, now something that's on my checklist, if I can take it back there for 3 seconds, is, do you have a passport? Have you been out of the country?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, that's something that, to me, that I didn't used to think about. But then when you encounter people that are like, oh, I vacation in Virginia Beach, and you're like, well, sweetie, Mexico is also cute, right?
Wait, he said Mexico was also cute.
Not Virginia
Mexico's
Beach.
cute, you know.
Just in Myrtle Beach.
El Salvador has beautiful beaches, right? But, like, if you can't do that, right? If you've never experienced those things, right? Like, so that's why I was saying checklist versus, like,
Right.
it is a full-time job. It is, because, right, it is an interview. It's literally an interview, and you have to do that sometimes multiple
Constantly.
times.
Yeah. Because you may get a different answer on Tuesday than you got last Tuesday. Right. And what I don't want to hear is, oh, I'm going to Brazil next month, and you're like, you can't come, or the furthest you've been is Virginia Beach.
Right, exactly. Now that, I would say, and we haven't gotten here yet, but that's probably one of my dating stories where I would say I invited someone to a restaurant, and it was authentic Mexican, right? So, like, authentic, not your,
Taco Bell.
Yeah, like, not that, right? And this person was looking at the menu like wide-eyed, right? But this is also the same person that said, I like to vacation in Virginia Beach, or I like to go to Ocean City. Now, here's my thing. I am not
very DMV.
But here's my thing. I'm not knocking it, but I'm also realizing that that's your worldview, right? And so if that's your worldview when it comes to travel, more than likely, this ain't gonna work out, right?
Yeah.
So, but I'm jumping.
So
ahead.
I just need to know if you had to help that person order.
I did, in fact, have to help that person order. I actually ordered for us, because I was like, I interviewed this person right before. What do you like to eat? What's your taste palette? What do you, what's your go-to things? I looked at the menu and I ordered. Guess what? Tore that food up, because I know what I'm doing, right? I know what I'm doing. But
you went to work on Mike's feet.
I'm done.
Something like that. But like,
so can I ask, where's this person now?
I don't know.
In Virginia Beach?
No, hopefully at the post office filling out a passport application.
Not at the post office.
That's someone whose number made it in my text message thread, but whose name was never saved. Because after that date, I then realized, okay, maybe not. We hung out maybe once or two more times, and I was like, okay, yeah, like, right, you try to give someone the benefit of the doubt. But the reason was they were tall, they were attractive, they drove a nice car, they had a career in finance, in fact, right? But then you realize, like, those are cute, but you don't have a passport. those are cute, but you ain't never been anywhere, right?
Mhm.
But you're also 6'5". 6'5", I'm gonna let you get away with some things. You know what I
Sound
mean?
like you
So
smack, honey.
My whole thing is the whole 6'4", 6'5". Look, okay, I was married to one. All right, tall and full of. Never mind. I'm never even. I don't want to badmouth this man, but that ain't all it's cracked up to be. Is all I'm saying.
Karis, what is your weirdest story when it comes to dating?
So, okay, so this was when I was very first newly divorced and totally didn't like know my boundaries, no conversations or whatever. I was just like on these apps swiping right on anybody that had a pulse. And yeah,
My fault.
it was I learned my lesson, right? But so I did like go on a date with this guy, did not look like anything like his pictures. So I was like, okay, whatever. Maybe he's nice though, like, cause I'm a nice person, and I'm like, maybe he has a sweet personality. Maybe.
Sweetie, no. I'm sorry, but no.
Don't worry, I learned real fucking fast. And
Okay.
so we're sitting there, and he was like, oh, like we got on the topic because he asked me, have I ever been married? Have I? And I was like, actually, I'm very newly divorced. And he was like, oh, so why did you get divorced? Was it because you couldn't commit? Do you have commitment issues? Like, kind of.
You were married.
Kind of like just like pounding into me about my divorce, and I'm like trying to change the topic. I'm like, oh, so what do you do for a living? Like, do you have like trying? And he just kept rotating right back to the divorce. So now you look nothing like your pictures. Now you're harassing me about something I don't want to talk to. So I politely excused myself to the bathroom, called my friend, and I said, please blow my phone up because I need to get the hell out of here. No. I was like, please call me in 5 minutes and get me the hell out of here. So we continued our dinner, and my phone blew up, and I was like, oh my God, excuse me, I have to go take this. This is an emergency. And then I totally made up some BS. I was like, oh, my friend and her fiance. She didn't have a fiance. They broke up. They had a massive fight. I got to be there for her. I'm so sorry.
You was doing too much, girl. You should have went to the bathroom and left.
So the thing was, the bathroom was on the opposite side of the exit.
Oh, so you would have had to walk past him?
Past him.
I love the exit plan, actually, Karis. I'm with you. Exit strategy. Let's formally, yep.
Get me the hell out of here. This was going nowhere, and I think he knew, but then it confirmed it later on because he texted me. It was like, I hope everything was okay with your friend, and like in quotes, and I was just like, you motherfucker, you were not worth it anyway. Goodbye, blocked. See you next week. Like,
before you stop talking, can you just tell them about the man who wanted you to pee on him?
Okay, so again, newly divorced, swiped right on everybody. So this man,
can we ease into that? Can we just ease into that a little bit?
Let's just go.
I kind of pulled a power move from my perspective. So this man was chatting, and he was like, I'm into some weird things, blah blah blah, and I was like, what do you mean? I've been in a marriage, like a very safe conservative marriage for the last 10 years. So when he starts talking about freaky things, I'm like, what are you talking about? And he was like, can I pee on you? And I was like,
can he pee on you?
Now this is via the app?
Yeah, we were texting on whatever app, and he was like, I'll pay you like $100.
That's it?
So I said, do $250. And he was like, okay, no problem. I was like, but you have to send it first. So he said, okay, no problem. So he cash apped me $250, and I blocked his ass.
He's dumb. So you want to pee on people and be dumb? Yeah, pick a struggle.
Blocked. I put the money in my account.
What app was that?
I don't even.
Yeah, like what was his name? Let me go get a
Tinder.
Right, I need 250 real quick.
So I think we matched on Tinder. I will never go on Tinder again.
I've been off of that for years.
No, that's a no.
Never again. Those
are
the weirdest.
True weirdos, like
they
live there. Crawl out from. That's Tinder.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was probably another weirdo that I never want to encounter again in my life.
Jess, any story for you?
We got dinner, me and my friend. It was great. It was on him.
Good.
Sounds like a good time to me.
So I have many weird stories, which both Kim and Nicholas are privy to. Sorry, Karis, but I won't be telling some of them here because my mama and them might watch this at some point, even though she don't watch. But
just buy the book when
I understand.
Someone else could watch potentially.
We've already talked about urinating on someone, so I just want to
right. So like, what are the limits? But just in case I want to run for president or something one day, I can't be talking about the really weird dates. But I will say, one of them, and one thing that's on my checklist is that I cannot be with an angry man. Like, I can't. As soon as you show me some form of aggression, anger, either towards somebody else, me, animals, children, whatever, I'm done. I'm not doing it. I'm too sensitive for that. I'm too sensitive. Like, I need you to be gentle, okay? So went out with this guy. I probably shouldn't have gone out with him because we really weren't talking for that long, but I figured let's just get the in-person thing out of the way and go out for a drink. So that's what it was supposed to be. Went out, met at a local place. Sat down. He was very awkward. The conversation was very weird. Somehow he was adopted, but then he wasn't.
What?
It was really all strange. Then he went into this huge rant about the right to bear arms and how I need to have a gun and how, like, that was a huge rant. Then he kept using words incorrectly, and for me, that's a pet peeve because, like, I am huge on grammar. Like, once you mispronounce something and you think you're pronouncing it correctly, I'm just like, no.
So he was using the wrong terminology.
He was using the wrong terminology. He was using it a lot. Like, every other word he was saying it. And it was just weird. We sat down at a table. Waiter was coming over just to take our order, then to bring our drinks, then to ask if we needed anything. And then finally, like, the kitchen was going to close. So he came over to say, like, hey, the kitchen's about to close. Do you guys want, like, anything to order any food? Mm-hmm. And he's like, you keep interrupting us. You know, we're trying to get to know each other, and you just keep interrupting us. So he's going off. And meanwhile, I'm sitting over there like, okay, this is weird because...
I'm sorry. The waiter was doing their job?
Yeah, right.
The waiter's checking.
He's like, can't you see? We're trying to get to know each other. And you just keep interrupting us. And I'm just like, yo. So then he's like, I need to speak to a manager.
Go ahead,
so mind you, I'm sitting over here like, yo, I'll have my head down. I'm like, this is not happening right now. Manager comes over. The manager's standing kind of like off to the side behind the guy a little bit. And he's like, yeah, what's the problem? And the guy's like, I really just don't get it. Like, your waiter, he just keeps coming over here and interrupting us. Like, we're trying to have a conversation and he just keeps interrupting us. It's so rude. And just like, and I'm over there like, no.
Help.
This is me over there mouthing this behind his back. He's like, I'm not paying for any of this.
Woo! Tell me you don't want to pay what I
said, let me find out. This is a scheme set up outside so that he didn't have to pay this bill. I'm like, because the waiter wasn't doing anything outside of
his job.
Right, his job. And here you are, making a scene.
Because you didn't want to pay the bill. What did y'all order?
It was like wings, some other like, because it was a Mexican place, some like tacos, and like
honestly though,
3 drinks.
Matter. If you gonna go out, sir, have the money to go out. That's
exactly.
Also, checklist, right?
Right.
One of us pay the bill, and it's not cringy, right?
Yeah. And we don't have to make a scene to get out of it. He's like, I'm not paying for none of this. And he was like loud with it. Like, everybody was looking at us. I was mortified. I don't like stuff like that. Like, I fly under the radar. Like, you know, I'm here, but like, I'm here. I want to. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So after that, I was like, okay, because they were closing, so we wrapped up. And he's like, I've had such a great time. And I'm like, mm-hmm. So child, I tell you, I shuffled to my car so quick. I blocked that number so quick. I got home and I said, never again. Never again.
So you never spoke to him
I blocked
again?
him from that parking lot. Do you understand?
You said he won't even call me on his ride home,
No,
honey.
don't even tell me you got home safe. I don't care. What you just did, I could never. And then, like, I work in the corporate America, right? Let's just say I have to go to a gala or something and I want to bring you. Is that what you're going to do? I could never. And plus, you're angry and you're weird. So, got that out the way.
Mm-mm.
But that has to be the weirdest thing where I have blocked someone in a parking lot, never to speak to them again. And there's been other people that I've gone out with and it's been cool and then nothing comes of it, or just like you go out on a date. I've had dates where it's me asking the questions and they never ask me a question. And I'm like,
and they just
so are you good?
And that's the end of that question. You're just
So, you want to ask it back,
like a
or
follow-up?
or just even.
This is why I was saying people don't know how to have like actual conversation.
Like the communication is so.
It's a volley.
But like I'm not actually helping you out by asking the questions. You could then ask me the same question, and they don't even do that.
But that's what I'm saying. Like it is a volley. Like people.
The communication is so hard.
Yeah. People just don't get it. They don't get it.
That's awful. Jasmine, can you take this moment to tell the story about someone that you know? Her past. Please. The audience needs to hear it.
Oh. So someone that I know that's not on this podcast right now, and not Kim. Met this guy really.
Look at Nick shaking his head.
Met this guy really, really cute, very cute. Like could be a model. Like could be like kind of look like Prison Bae from a little while ago. Like light skinned guy, green eyes, like muscular, really cute. Was talking to him, met up with him. Hold on a second, Jamie, you're gonna have to edit this out. You guys need to go because I can't tell this story with you here. And I told you guys not to be down here. Go now. And you should be getting ready. Is that what you're wearing? Oh, hurry up. Yeah.
Oh, you are in the business, child.
You're so nosy, bro. Anyway, so this friend had been talking to this guy for a while. They went on a few dates, met up with him, and this is going to lead into another topic, but started to get kind of down to business, and this friend in particular always makes sure that she examines areas before going to that next level, and she examined the area, and it was full of warts. Okay, now this
look at Kara's face.
This person tried to tell her that they were razor bumps. And
didn't he tell her that they were keloids too?
No.
Oh, okay.
Razor bumps.
I just be making stuff up.
This person is really knowledgeable in skin conditions. This person is damn near a nurse practitioner. And she's like, no, those aren't razor bumps. They don't. And first of all, why would you be shaving in this area? Like, you wouldn't shave this part of yourself. So razor bumps would not be there. Needless to say, she picked up her stuff and got on up out of there, okay? But I tell that story of my friend to say that all that glitters is not gold, right? So someone could look so good, so good, but then end up being bumped up, okay?
If she would have slept with him, she would have had her pass.
Yeah, she would have definitely had the warts because it just takes skin to skin contact.
To skin.
Really, that's all it takes. You don't have to even have penetration. So this brings up two important points for me. One, if you are going to take it there with somebody, let's just say they make it that far in this whole dating thing, you need to be looking at what's going on down there. That goes for guys and that goes for girls. Mm-hmm. Look at it before you do anything, before you even touch it.
Yep.
Okay? Examine. Look for things that are not supposed to be there. And don't take their because clearly this guy
is full of shit.
Right? Thinking those are, those aren't razor bumps. you know good and well.
Didn't you say that it was that she said that it was like on part of his leg too?
Part of his leg, part of the other areas that they shouldn't have been. And
so he's shaving there, whatever.
Right. Sir, hair does not even grow there. Okay? But that just shows you how people will lie to you. People will lie to you, right?
To get what they want.
To get what they want, to do what they want. So you should always ask for their test results, right? Which for me is a newer thing because I'm used to being married. You don't be having those problems unless somebody's doing something outside.
Hopefully you don't have those problems.
Hopefully you don't. But usually, you know, in this new game of everybody's, you know, trying to get cracked and do all this stuff, you need to ask for paperwork. Oh, sorry. So that is actually on my list. Takes your health seriously. Takes your health seriously, gets tested regularly. I have encountered a lot of guys who just want to do things unprotected. And that I feel like right off the bat. You don't know me. I can have anything. I know I look a certain way, but you don't know what I do outside of here.
Yeah. And what people need to understand is like HIV doesn't have a face or a certain type of look.
It doesn't. And then these other things like chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, they don't have symptoms necessarily. They don't have a smell. They don't have a this or that. And if you've just recently slept with someone, you could have contracted it and you don't even know. Right? So like, even if you do have recent test results, like when was the last time you slept with someone?
Since those test results.
There's a lot of timing that goes into that as well. So ask for the test results and always look at everything. But the test results piece, I feel like I think it's more of a routine now. Like people are used to it. They have them ready. Some people have some falsified test results, which we ain't even gonna get into. And so people are used to providing them, asking for them. That's like a norm now. And I respect it. I like it. But I think looking at the actual equipment may not be the norm. So
laying eyes on the patient.
Yeah, you guys want to make sure you're doing that too.
So in my research, it says that a lot of women feel that it's better to end up without a partner rather than end up with a partner who doesn't meet their standards, and not just financial standards, with which you all spoke about other standards that are important. I could definitely see that. I could do bad. I can do good by myself. Not I can do bad by myself, but I can do good by myself. You don't need these men for it.
But you could also do bad, but you will still be by yourself, and that way you don't have to pay for somebody else to be bad.
It won't
shoot you.
Right.
Okay.
Like an extra mouth to feed.
I will say this, and just also this is just me standing for my BFF here, and also you too, Kim. I feel like my friends have set such a standard for how I should be treated that if you can't at least meet that, which it's hard to meet, quite honestly. Like, then, like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Now, I understand, you know, I've been friends with Nick for 20 years. You, Kim, for like 10. 10?
19, but proceed.
Right.
I'm in my head, Nick.
Right. I was there.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, obviously you guys have time, but we've been treating each other well. You know what I mean? Like, it goes both ways, but if you can't treat me as good as my friends treat me,
and there's some friends, because Nick and I am talking for the both of us, we are quick to dismiss somebody out of Jasmine's life like she doesn't need them.
Yeah.
I think the evolution, right? And Jazz, I think, and actually, I want to say everyone on this call, I'm sure you have evolved from what you thought you knew to what you know now, right? And you know, no one can say prior to being married they knew what it was like to be married. No one can say, oh, I totally knew this person, or I totally knew that person, or whatever, right? But the other part of that is, Kim, I'm sure someone that's been in you said you've been married for 20 years?
Yes.
Okay. But the Kim from 20 years ago is not the Kim.
Nope.
No, right? Jasmine, you were married for 15? No.
13.
I'm teasing.
I'm done.
But like the Jasmine that, you know, that we met at 13 years ago is a totally different woman then
completely.
and Karis, I'm sure the same thing for you, right? Like,
Oh,
so
100%.
I think like you evolve into knowing what you want and your needs are, especially if you're in a situation, right? And I'm sure now there are things that you're like, oh my God, I would never tolerate
Yes.
XYZDQ versus the person from a few years ago. So I think I know for me in dating, there are many things that I dealt with in my 30s and my early 30s that now, the term red flag comes from what? Like I had to learn that this is a red flag because it leads to blank, right?
Right.
I had to take in this because now I realize that, right? And I now see behaviors in men that I saw back then, whereas before I didn't know. I didn't know what that meant, right?
Right.
And so certain things I'm like, oh, right. So then it's either triggering, triggering doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, right? Because sometimes people are like, oh, I'm triggered, da, da, da. But also it's like, no, I know what this can lead to, right? Like I know what this feels like, and I don't like it, right, Jasmine? I think you even said like I don't like angry people, right? Because you know what that can lead to, right? You know
Yeah.
that can evolve into other things. So I
That
think
anger's gonna be turning on me one day.
right at some point,
And I'm not having it.
right?
Yeah. And I'm
Or
not
my
doing it.
mom, or my kids, or my
Right.
someone that's important to me. So no, I think now it's definitely I know how I want to be treated. And I think to me that's the thing that has gotten me to where I am at 39 is like I know what I want because I know what I like, right? Versus whatever, or it's okay, or if you're having a conversation with somebody and they constantly cut you off, right? Like stuff like that. Like to me is like, okay, you don't also know how to have a conversation, right? Because again, you got to hit the ball back, right? You got to hit the ball back in order for us to have a volley, right? But if you are constantly cutting the game or ending the game, it's like, okay, well, we can't have a conversation, right? So no, I think as far as being treated, I've gotten to a place where it's important for me to you need to treat me as good as I treat myself or close versus the latter, which now is not great. That's what I say. I feel like
Yeah.
a lot of people are just kind of like whatever, and I don't want to
You
go for
are not
whatever
with
because
that.
I don't treat myself as whatever,
Right. See
you know.
these?
If
Okay.
you think on a first date that it's okay to yell at the staff in a restaurant, like to me that's like, what does
That's
that say
wild.
about you? That's wild,
Mm-hmm.
right? To
That's
me,
wild.
that's wild. It's like, but to me that means that's probably how you live your life
Right.
in other areas, right? And so it's like,
Mm-hmm. How you do one thing, they say how you do one thing is how you do everything. Now, I don't all the way believe in that, but definitely a factor.
I'm now I'm like I need whoever comes into my life. um you need to be able to know how to treat a person, not just someone you're dating, but how to treat a person. And also what's your opinion of that, or like how do you feel, right? Like like are you a person that opens doors? Are you a person that gives flowers? Are you a person that, like, you know what I mean, is are you kind, right? But to me it's like, what does that mean for you? Because some people think,
Yeah.
not texting every day or not whatever is fine, right? Whereas other people is like, no, like text me, say hello, da 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 da. But no, I feel like treatment wise, you definitely need to know how to treat yourself, and then have
Treat
someone,
yourself.
yes, but like have
Right.
somebody be able to match that energy. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be treating myself better than you, than like are we
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
are we doing? What are we doing? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you have all these endless options at your fingertips, literally at your fingertips. You could just be sitting in your house, swiping right, swiping left. I know for me, for me in my house, there's actually these apps are overwhelming for me. Okay, there's way like I put my profile up. I decide there's thousands of people in there, and I'm not even just saying that to make myself out to be that person, like I'm all that or anything. But there will literally be thousands, and maybe only 5 that are like worth
swipe right on.
Normal.
Yeah.
Normal.
Right. Maybe like 50. Okay, maybe like let's say 100. How can I manage talking to 100 people? I can't do that. I can't do that. It's too much for me. But I know that they're out there. So how can I help with saying like, okay, well, I didn't like the way this person's left nostril flared. I'm gonna move on and just go on to the next person. You know what I mean? Like, what's stopping people from nitpicking all these little things and just saying there's billions of people out here in this world. I'm just gonna move on to the next person because I can and because it's right at my fingertips. Like, how do you decide this is my person? I want to be in a relationship with them. Like, are you settling at that point, or are you found a good thing? Like, I don't know. Like, what is the
I constantly have that argument in my head all the time. Am I settling? Am I just picking? Am I like, I'm on the same page as you?
Are we, this is a conversational question?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I was like, wait, are we, I would like to hear from our other healthcare snitch coach before I jump in. Kimberly, if there's any advice you can provide for selecting.
Yeah, so I haven't been in these streets in a long time, but I will tell you, last week when Jasmine and I were at the R&B festival, she gave me her phone and she had me swiping and selecting. And like, how many did I select? Maybe 3, 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And it was like everybody was just being skipped. They were either looking weird, they look crazy, they look like somebody's grandfather. They were lying. They were 26. It was just too much.
I'm not doing that.
So I don't have any advice, Nick, because I like to give advice when I am actually like going through it or I've been through it. Like for example, when Jasmine was going through her divorce, I never once told her to leave her husband. I never once told her to get divorced. Did I feel like, hell yeah, she need to leave him? But I've never been through a divorce or in a situation like that. And I probably would never tell any of my friends or family to like leave their spouse. But she did know that I was riding with her, whatever she wanted to do. I was right there.
Supportive of her.
You were very supportive. Okay.
So I don't have any advice, Nick, because my dating, I was 18, 19.
Okay. No, I just meant in the sense of like, when you say dating apps are overwhelming, I would say like they can be if you let them. But I think it's cool to be able to like maybe slice it down. And I'm not saying you have a ton, but I feel like focus on maybe 2 apps versus like 5, right? Hypothetically, if you're saying, okay, hey, how do I select? How do I do whatever? And I think it's like whittle down the thousands of names to maybe focusing it on 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Take it chunk by chunk, right? How do you eat an elephant? Little pieces at a time. So I mean, I think it's like whittle it down or try to whittle it down that way versus having so many things. And we said in the beginning of this podcast, it is a full-time job. So it's also like, do I have the time to invest in trying to whittle it down to then get to know somebody? So then it's like da 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 da. You know what I mean? But I feel like because I've been on apps and stuff before, so I feel like everybody's on them. So it's like, okay, why is this person on here? Is this person on here genuine looking for a connection, or is this person wanting to just be pen pals? So I feel like if you can figure out like, all right, in those first couple messages, like, yo, what's up? Like, are you trying to date? Are you trying to whatever? And usually this person will tell you within the first couple messages. If he's like, hey, I'm trying to eat you out tomorrow, if that's not what you're looking for, swipe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now that person
tomorrow. They don't wait till tomorrow. They want that tonight.
Even a quicker swipe.
Right. Good day. I said good day.
I think one something that one of my favorite newscasters and therapist also says, and I'm sure you guys have all heard this too. It's like don't just watch what they say, watch what they do. So if their actions don't align with what they're saying, also
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go ahead and dismiss you, right? I know, and I don't know how many of you guys can attest to this, but like I sometimes want to give everyone the benefit of the doubt, but then once you do that, typically it's like, okay, yeah, you've now really reconfirmed that you're not looking for anything, right? So,
what happened to Karis?
I don't
She
know.
dropped off. Hopefully she'll call back in.
I hope so. But like I feel like whittling down. I block quick, or I unfollow or unmatch very quickly,
Mm-hmm.
very quickly, because it's like no. Also, I don't have time. So in that little blurb that I'm giving you, that little 10, 15, 20 minutes where I'm like, we're gonna interact. If you're not aligning and doing the things relatively quickly, unfollow,
You're done.
unmatch, whatever the unsubscribe, unsubscribe, whatever the things are.
Do you guys feel like there's a certain app that is the best or the better of the apps?
No, I'm not I am personally trying to do a better job of meeting people organically, because I feel like that's why people don't know how to have conversations, is because
Right.
we're apping, we're texting,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
But like you have to be able to have an original thought in person. Like you also have to be able to, you know what I mean? So like I
Or send your nephew up and say, Unc wants to talk to you.
Unc wants to talk to you. But
right.
No, I personally I can't say that there's an app where I'm like, yeah, like everybody should be on this. Apps are created, yes, in its basis form to meet people, but apps are also created to make money, to
Mm-hmm.
to give
Keep
people
you on
hope,
the app.
right? To give people hope,
I
to
apologize,
do all types of things.
guys. I'm so sorry.
I personally can't say that there's one that I recommend. I feel like for the most part they're all kind of the same.
In the research, and Nick, thank you.
Yeah.
In the research, it says 20% of the dating world is hopeful that they will enter a strong relationship. 80% are hopeless and disgruntled and confused.
It's the confused part for me.
Do you guys agree?
I think it's the more
I
confused.
agree with that. No, I agree with that. I think, I mean, I would say I don't want to use the word and label myself as a hopeless romantic, but I still believe in love. I still believe in connection. And like, to me, that's, if I do end up on an app for whatever reason, I think that's a part of it, right? There's still a part of me that's like, true love still exists, connection still exists. I don't necessarily want to say like my soulmate is out there, but I do think that I do think there are people. I don't want to say that just one person, but I do think there are people out there that I can align with, and I could have a relationship with, and it be something. Do I think that there's one person in the world for me? I don't know if I would totally agree with that, but I do think that you can find somebody that you connect with on enough levels that you can make a relationship work and have fun and build a life and do all those things. So yes, I do believe that exists, but I'm definitely not one of those people that's like, my soulmate is out there and they're just looking for me. And it's like, baby girl, probably not. Probably not. But part of the reason is you got to put yourself out there to be caught, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
You've also got to be available. Have you done any self work? Right? Like you got to be, you know what I mean? So like to be able to catch the person. And then are you sociable? Right? The person that you're probably looking for is probably not on the app. Probably not. Right? If we're going to be real, probably not on the app. No. 80%? Why do you think 80% of people are disillusioned? Like that's a lot.
Because they're confused.
Well, that too. But like more than likely, we're all on the app for the same reason, but people are crazy, right? We've acknowledged that. People are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So you got people on apps that want a partner, that want a whatever, but don't know how to have a conversation. You got people on the apps that scream at wait staff on their first date. You got people on the apps. My favorite is can I tell this story? My favorite
Mm-hmm.
is why your pictures look like that. Get you a phone that can, or a Polaroid, or an
Not a
Android.
Polaroid.
Like, get you pictures that look like they're from 2025. Like, what are we doing? Right? Like, what are we doing? And I feel like that's something that I see quite often, is these blurry 2005, 2006,
Yeah. Where you
Really?
can see the digital
1995.
camera
Like
stamp,
poor
time stamp,
quality,
I'm just
or
like,
awful.
their pictures. Yeah, their pictures are from 2005. When you actually meet up in person, if you do, they look nothing like their pictures, and
I'm
you're
not.
like, wait a minute, wait a minute.
That's an automatic block for me. If you hit me up and your pictures are old, swipe. Like, cause I'm
Mm.
like, I'm not trying to figure out if this is you now versus, baby, I don't have time. I
Maybe
don't
they
have
were
time.
in jail and just came home.
I'm not doing this with you.
Also, swipe. Okay.
Just no.
Red flag.
No.
I'm good. I'm good on a prison bag. I don't
Okay, so what else I got? In today's dating world, we want more, which results in low satisfaction as the outcome. I always say, if we don't have any expectations, there will be no disappointments, right? But can you really apply that to dating? Because a lot of people date with intent, and they have high expectations, and they want to see results. What
Wait,
do you
can you
guys
say the
think?
first part again?
In today's dating world, we want more, which results in low satisfaction as the outcome, because we want all of this and we meet somebody who's right here. So
Okay,
it
because I was gonna
results
say
in low satisfaction.
define wanting more. Okay, go ahead, Jasmine. I'll let you go first.
Define wanting more. You have to have some standard, right? You have to have some standard as to like what you will and won't accept. You have to have that. Now, when you have the people that have these checklists where they're like, must be 6'2", must make six figures. What is it that the John said that time we were all talking? Have the 3 6s, 6 figures, 6 feet, six.
Wait,
More than 6 inches.
Oh Lord.
I'm just saying that's what I was told. I don't have that on my list. I mean, maybe I do have that on
You
a
do.
little bit,
You
but
do.
when you have these like really strict things and you're expecting, I guess that's expecting more. I don't know. Is that expecting more, or is that just
I mean,
your expectation?
Are your expectations supposed to be breathing? Like,
No, they're supposed to be, I think they're supposed to be realistic. They are supposed to be based on what you're looking for, right? So if you're looking for a long-term relationship, your expectations should be things that are important to you to sustain a long-term relationship.
I think so.
So not being an angry person. I'm just going off of my list, which I have. So not being an angry person, someone who takes their health seriously, right? These are non-negotiables. So I'm not going to be over here eating right most of 90% of the time, working out, and you are over here sitting on the couch playing video games, eating crap. I can't do it.
But Jasmine, one of the things that were on your list that you haven't mentioned, and I just want to know if it still stands or if it's from the past. They have to like your close friends.
Yes, that still stands.
That still stands? Okay.
Yeah. They have to like my friends. They have to at least get along with them in passing, right? So nobody's saying you have to chill with them, because that might not be their cup of tea. And I don't actually, my time with my friends is my time with my friends, whatever. But you cannot despise my friends or not accept my friends for who they are. Not saying we all have to chill or anything like that, but
you gotta play nice.
They're part of my life, and they're going to be here after you're not here.
Well, I think,
Sorry.
but part of the reason you feel that way, though, is because, right, your opinion of that has evolved. And I feel like for you, that's not something that you necessarily called out or realized that you needed until you were put in a position where it was an issue, right? So like
Yeah.
that's what I was saying in the beginning of not beginning, but somewhere mid through here, where I was like, hey, like your relationships, your marriages have and or post have now shaped your needs and wants versus, right? Like there's certain things from a healthcare perspective, from a sexual perspective, from a love languages perspective that you may not have necessarily know that you needed until you were in a situation where you weren't getting those things, and then you're like, this is ass. Like I'm out, right? So,
Right.
but that's why I was asking in the beginning of like, what defines more, right? Like people wanting more. What does that mean? And part of the reason I say that is everyone's standard of what they want is different. I think ultimately people want to be in a relationship, but what does that mean, right? What does that mean for you? So I feel like knowing what you want and having the checklist and being able to say like, you know, these are things that are important to me, blah blah blah. I think that to me is the important part. But like I feel like people's lists tend to be unrealistic, which is why they're left wanting. That's just my personal opinion. I feel like people's more is some of the unrealistic things or things that they don't necessarily bring to the table. And
Right.
to be honest, I feel like I'm gonna sound like an old man, but social media has ruined relationships, is ruined
Yeah.
them because they think that it's supposed to be right,
magical
and
and
it's not. Like
perfect
real
and
relationships take work, they take sacrifice, caring and supporting another person. Like all these relationship experts and stuff, people that have been in marriages for 30 years, 20 years, blah blah. I'm sure Kim, you can say the same thing. Like you and Jasmine, you've experienced it. Like I feel like you are literally giving a part of your life, your entire life, to someone. And that takes work, that takes effort, that takes strength, that takes a lot. And so people don't want that. People don't genuinely want that. You want the, hey, Instagram bae, we're on the beach, we got matching outfits, we've done this, we've done that. So I think that's why people are left wanting, because it's unrealistic, right? I want to be, I want to have the Birkin bag, I want to have the Rolls Royce, I want a jet set. Do you have the career for that? Do you have money for that?
Right.
do
Right.
you do you you know what I mean? Or why are you expecting him, her, they, them, however you subscribe? But why should someone provide that for you? Why do you deserve that, right? So that's why I feel
Right.
like people are wanting or left wanting more, is because it's like the expectations around relationships tend to be unrealistic. And I feel like if you're genuinely realistic about some things, more than likely you're not even bringing those things to the table. So for that percentage of people that are like, oh, I want more, what more have you created?
So, Nick, just to support some of what you said, right? So, one of these female doctors, I didn't catch her name, she said the vast majority of couples are meeting online via dating sites or social media. And during this time, there has been a decrease in relationships that are being transacted in the last 10 years. She said that there is a mating crisis going on, and women are choosing to stay single. Women tend to mate up in terms of achievement and education, right?
Hypergamy is what it's called.
Say
Hypergamy?
hypergamy. Okay.
Come on,
So they
hypergamy.
are
Yes. Come through.
so they tend to mate up in terms of achievement and educational attainment. And this leads to a narrow pool of mates.
Yeah.
And she also said that there's a book out called All the Single Ladies, which is about this phenomenon. So what do you guys think about what she's saying? In the last 10 years, it's because of social media and the dating apps, blah, blah, that kind of sort of supports a lot of what you were speaking of, Nick.
Yeah. I can't speak for the last 10 years because I was in 12 years a slave. So
I said shackles.
13 years a slave. But, so I can't speak for that many years, but that sounds pretty accurate based on, what I've been seeing, what I've experienced. Like we've talked about people don't even know how to have a simple conversation. So if you can't have a simple conversation, or if you can't plan a date, how can you plan a life?
Yeah.
If, as a woman, I'm looking to you as the man to be the leader of the relationship and ultimately to be my thought partner, my partner in everything, really. So financially, spiritually, mentally, if you're not doing that on your own, it's kind of far-fetched to think that once I come along, you're going to start doing it. And so typically, the whole idea of like hypergamy and wanting to date up financially or even in height, right? So it's like you feel like that person can keep you safe, can take care of you, when that's not always the case. Even for me, when I think about like when people say they have to make six figures, I think it's less about the six figures and more about the character of the person and the mentality that it takes to make the six figures. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm looking for.
You want whether that ambition.
Right. Whether it's materialized into the six figures yet, I need to know that you have the mindset to make 6 and 7 because that's what's going to get us there. And maybe I'm what you need to get you to the 7 figures. I don't know. But if that mentality and that work ethic and that ambition is not there, I'm not doing it. So I agree with that.
Yeah. How about you, Karis?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I could see that. To be honest with you, up until the last 3 years, I was not on online dating because I was in a relationship for 10 years. So really online dating has been the last 3 years for me. So in comparison to that, and then like in this new world of dating online, like I feel like you have no choice but to date online. That's all I feel like is available. I mean, granted, yes, you can go out, you can go to bars, you can go here, but like if you're going to a bar, you're not going to be meeting this dream man that you're expecting. You might, there's a chance. I mean, the chances are never zero, but you get what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna end up more than likely meeting someone who's really wasted and is not really like that great, and it's just like, okay, well, this is what I get for going out to the bar. Like,
yeah. Okay.
And then that also, when, okay, let's just say you are a woman that has a master's degree, earns 6 figures, mid 6 figures, because 6 figures is just like 100,000. Let's just say you earn above that. Mm-hmm. Now you're whittling down your pool of people because it's for the men, there's not that many that have a master's degree and also make a lot of money. So you're all going after the same guys. Mm-hmm. And if you want to date a specific race, then you're really whittling it down. So like, right? Like if I say, oh, I only want to date black men, all right, I got to choose between 2.
Yeah.
There's 2 of them. And then geographically, where are they?
Yeah.
So you have to either expand your horizons in a certain way to your like liking or stay single.
Here's the last question that I have for you guys, for each of you. Do you have any advice for people who are newly entering the dating world or who are currently in the dating world? Don't all answer at once.
I do, but I would love the ladies. No, I would love the ladies to go first.
Oh, okay. Such a gentleman.
To be honest with you, it's the less expectations, the less disappointed you'll be.
So that's the part that you missed. Yeah. You got lost. I always say, if you don't have any expectations, then you won't have any disappointments. But I also feel like you can't really apply that to the dating world if you're out here looking for a husband.
So what I've learned is even the nicest guys that I've thought met my expectations, that I thought were hitting it, they were emotionally available at the start, they were here, they were there, they were great, and then pulled the rug right under your feet because something was going on up in their head that all of a sudden I'm not ready for a relationship. Oh, I can't do this. This is too much. The expectations are just as the relationship goes, I guess. That's such a weird way to say it.
I think
But
an expectation you should have is to expect that they're going to hurt your feelings, or that they are going to be a person. So like I always expect people to people.
Yes. That things change.
Yeah.
I always say a lot of these dudes seem to be consistently inconsistent.
100%.
That's the only thing that they are consistent with. And that's just from me on the sideline watching.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for your advice, Carriage. Jasmine?
My advice is, at the first sign of a red flag for you, whatever your red flags are, just be out. Because trying to change that flag into a green one, or orange one, a yellow one, probably not going to happen. That's probably who that person is. And good thing you're finding out early on. So just cut your losses pretty quickly.
Save yourself the time and energy.
Yeah, but I honestly can't say anytime I've ever cut anyone off, I have gone back and regretted that. Pretty good reader of persons. Take your time, and also, do as I say, not as I do. Okay, because I know y'all too are thinking, bitch, please, you don't do any of this. Please. I'd be like, red flag? Ooh, well, let me make a blanket. Let me make a cape. I'm like, ooh, I like that red flag.
Red's my favorite color. Oh my god.
Red is one of my favorite colors, for real. I'm like, look, I'm in the color guide. Take your time. You don't know these people, okay? It can take up to 6 months for someone to show their true colors as a narcissist or whatever they are.
An asshole, a cunt,
right,
whatever.
Right. Usually 3 months is when you'll start to see who the real person is.
I was just about to say, there's the 3-month rule that is known in the dating world, that you wait the 3 months, and then that's really when their real personality comes out, the real person, like their characters start to show, and that's when you kind of can gauge it, where the relationship's going.
Yep. So take your time. Don't ignore red flags. Believe who they are the first time.
When a person shows you who they are, please believe.
I also feel like have fun. I feel like, and I need to take this advice too, a lot of times, my dating now is different than before, right? So before I was dating to get married. Now, not so much. I'm not sure if I want to get married again. It's a possibility. The person would have to be, as I always say, extraordinary. It would have to be like, I really like you, like, and I can definitely see myself living the rest of my life with you. And I want to make it official in a way where the government now has to get involved. Okay. Not just like we live together and we are together in a common law situation, but like, I want the government involved. I want to be able to tell them, don't pull the plug because I'm next of kin and I want to save his life, or vice versa, right? Like, I have to feel that strongly about you to get married again. But even if you are dating with the intention to get married, I think you should still make sure that you're having fun, doing activities, really getting to know the person. And you do that by going out on dates, putting yourself in different situations, seeing how they react. When you travel, I think you should travel with someone that you're dating. You find out a lot about somebody when you travel with them. Everywhere from how do you get to the airport? How do they deal with delays, setbacks? How are they navigating? Like, if I'm traveling with a man, like, are you leading me astray? Are we getting lost? Or because I don't know where I'm going. I never know where I'm going. So I'm going to need somebody that knows where they're going. Niggas laughing because I'm like, oh, did we just pass that again? I don't know where I'm going. So I need you to know where you're going. So I'm going to look for that. Do you like to vacation the way I like to vacation? Are you trying to have me ziplining at 6 a.m. on somebody's or are you trying to have me on somebody's yacht? I don't know. Depends. Or do we vacation the just see how this person acts in different scenarios. Like really, really get to know them before you decide this is my person. And that could be, you'll always be getting to know someone throughout a relationship. And I also feel like people change, right? So like whether it's every 5 years or a life event that occurs that causes them to change, people change. You have to be prepared to deal with the change that that person goes through and also the change that you're going to go through as a person. So, I think that's super important to try to get that as much as you can through the dating process, but make sure you're having fun, make sure that you're in alignment with this person, and leave leave at the first sign of these red flags. So they usually don't get any better. And they're usually the reason why, ultimately, if you end up breaking up with someone, it's going to be from the red flag that you saw early on. I just, point blank. Relationships that have ended for me and other people that I have seen, they noticed the red flag in the beginning, but they kind of just like swept it under the rug, only for it to be ultimately why they couldn't be with this person. So those are my words of wisdom.
Thanks, Jazz. Nick?
Heavy on the words of wisdom. Come on.
Yeah.
She's coming through with it. Parables.
Not parables. I'm done.
So I'd say this is to people newly entering the dating world, right? This is all types, right? So we're encompassing apps, we're encompassing meeting in person and everything in between. My advice would be know who you are, which I think to me is core. And part of the reason I say that is it's a hard world out here. So the world is designed to beat your ass. So like you need to be secure in who you are and you, right? And when you're trying to date, right? Because rejection's gonna happen, things are gonna happen. So know who you are. Number 2, I think I said this earlier, but don't just watch what they say, watch what they do. Because I feel like that's really important. Someone can say, hey, I want a relationship, but then there's no follow up, there's no follow through, blah, 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 right? So watch what they say, not watch what they do. I feel
no, watch what they do. Watch the other way around. Watch what they do.
Yes, watch what both. Watch what they say and watch
right.
What they do.
Listen to what they say, but watch what they do. Okay.
I feel like dating, especially on apps, don't take yourself or people on apps too seriously until the need arises to. And by that I mean everyone can go. To me, dating apps are like TikTok. You can go down a wormhole, right? And then you blink and you've been either having a conversation with someone for an hour or swiping for an hour or some version of both for an hour. But also don't take yourself too seriously. And by that I mean I think one of you said it, having some fun, but also realizing like it's not that serious. And you kind of need to be able to bounce back if whatever didn't work out, right?
But how many times? How many times can you bounce? I feel like it's just like a cycle. It's just a lot.
Which is why I'm like, don't take yourself too seriously. Don't, again, watch what the person says and watch what they do. And then also know who you are, right? Because that, if you know who you are and you're not taking it too seriously, then it's like, okay, right? Let it roll off your shoulders. And last but not least, patience. That would be my things is to give yourself patience, give yourself grace, but to have patience. Again, it's an elephant, and the only way that you can kind of transverse these things is one piece at a time. Nobody is gonna go on an app for the first time or walk into a bar or be walking down the street. It's 90% of the time it's not the movie Meet Cute, right? It's just not. It's not the movie Meet Cute, right? It's not like, oh, I've fallen and here's this man that's gonna lift me off the street. Like that's not. Most of the time that's not happening, right? So that's why I think it's great to be patient. And actually, sorry, one more thing. Don't forget to live your life. Don't be waiting for someone to live.
Thanks, Nick. Mm.
So
That's good advice that you guys gave.
There's one thing that I did want to ask, and maybe this is a whole nother episode. It could be, but dating post weight loss. That's a whole topic.
I feel like that's probably another episode, but also
Yeah.
that's to me that's a very unique situation.
Yeah.
But are you want people's opinions, or you're talking about like experiences?
Experiences. I want to know, Karis, from you what you think too. But that's again probably a whole different episode.
So you don't want her response now?
I mean, you can give it if you want.
So honestly, so I've recently lost 48 pounds. So I was in a relationship this was like my first like serious relationship after my divorce, when I did gain a lot of weight within the relationship, and my ex constantly reminded me about it. And then yeah, he was trash. Then lost weight, and while being on these apps, now I have a new picture. I'm much skinnier than what he remembers. He tries matching me, and it's, oh my God, you look great. This color does wonders for you. I hope you're doing well. All of a sudden, you come out of the woodworks and you're all about me because what? I'm 48 pounds less than I was when I last saw you. So I think weight loss does play a difference in terms of if the person knew you before, if that makes sense.
Okay. All right.
Do you have a new level of confidence because you lost the weight?
I would say a little bit. I feel more comfortable in trying on different outfits versus before. Like, I constantly love the color black. I will always wear black. That is my favorite color. But I've been embracing wearing different colors and trying to like make outfits that fit my body, not just cover me up entirely. So I'm still working on that. I'm still learning where my confidence level is with weight loss.
Okay. How about you?
How about me?
Mm-hmm.
It's weird because most days, honestly, I feel like I had more options when I was bigger.
More options meaning for a partner?
Yeah. Because it was a very niche market of people that liked that, right? And they knew that they liked it, and I had other things going on too that were also a niche area. And I don't have any of that anymore, okay? I ain't got boobs no more. I mean, I have them, but they're not as big as they were.
A triple Z. Like
right, they're not the triple Zs. And I feel like I kind of not blend in with everybody else now, but yeah, more so blend in as opposed to stand out like I did before. So that has been tricky for me. I do feel like I am a little bit more confident, so that helps, but I've always been, so never really been an issue. And I do have the same face. It is different, a little bit different, but again, that card never declined, honey. So I never had a problem. I would actually say it's probably worse now, honestly, because I get a lot of people that just want me for how I look. So now the niche market is a different, and it's opened it up to people that I wouldn't have necessarily been in contact with when I was bigger. But it's not better, if that makes any sense. It's just more, it's just more and weird.
Okay. Nick, did you ever lose like a lot of weight?
No, I mean, I can't definitively say I can speak for someone that's like lost weight and stuff like that. However, I would say my thing is I mean, I've gotten older. I used to be, and not to say that I'm not still slim, but I used to be a lot more slimmer than I am now. You know, locks having locks in my hair and growing my hair out versus not. I do see a difference in the way that people treat me. But I also realize it's my energy is different. So I realize the energy that I'm emitting attracts a different type of person than the person that I used to attract. And so I'm always a vibes person. Like I'm gonna, how does this feel? How does this make me feel? How does this? So I've noticed that the energy that I give out is different. So then that also gives off, or that I attract a different person. And
True.
you know,
True.
I think that I realize, as being a best friend to someone that has transitioned from one look to another, that to some degree they are treated differently. And sometimes I didn't necessarily realize that until it's like, oh well, no, sometimes it was this and now it's that, right? Or sometimes it's, you know, I've always been, anytime we've hung out, I'm usually to the side or chilling, right? But like, I think sometimes it's like people think we're married.
What?
People think we're married
Right, right.
quite often. But then also sometimes you're not even addressed, right? Versus me being addressed. And it's like sometimes I don't notice it. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I didn't necessarily think about it. But I do think it has to do with the way that people look and the way that people perceive someone to be, if that makes any sense. And again, in my world, and not to say that in my world, I mean just being gay, being black, etc. I feel like physical appearance is really, really, really something that is leaned into in my world. We gay men really, really, men in general, right? So that's the thing that I feel like people don't always say, but I want to make sure I'm flagging on this podcast publicly, is like, don't forget that, gay men are still men, right? So there is men alike physical, they want to see things, they like skin, they like they like the outward appearance, right? That's how most guys are driven and built. So if you magnify that down even more, especially in my world, it's very much like, do you have the skin? Do you have the hair? Do you have the muscles? Are you this? Are you that? Do you look like this? Do you have the fashion sense? Do you have money? Do you know what I mean? So that's something I feel like I encounter now, is like everybody wants that perfect muscular, this image of this guy. And most times it's unattainable, most times, right? But fat guys, or I'll say heavy guys, usually you'll get the shorter end of the stick. Or super, super, super skinny guys usually get the short end of the stick, right? But then there are also, you have people that fetishize that, right? So I'm sure that there are men that fetishize, a plus size woman, right? There are men that fetishize a black woman. There are men that fetishize a white woman. There are men that fetishize, or actually people in general that fetishize Asian and blah, 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 right? So that's where that niche, I think some of that subset kind of comes in. But yeah, I can't say that I've dramatically lost weight or dramatically gained weight, but I know, especially in my world, usually heavier set guys have a much harder time dating, have a much harder time finding a person versus someone that is like, works out every day, super muscular, takes care of themselves. And then in my world too, which is probably a subset of a podcast, is like masculine presenting. Because then it's like, oh, that person is better than someone that's more feminine, or someone that's more, whatever. But yeah, it's especially living here in New York, and social media has definitely opened my eyes to people being fetishized, in a way. And it's crazy, but it's unfortunately the world that we live in. So that's my 3 cents.
Thanks for that, Nick. I don't have any more questions.
I don't either, really. I mean, I do, but we could be doing this forever, right? Just like the apps, we could be swiping forever. So That's all I got.
All right. Well, Karis and Nick, thank you guys so much for joining us today, because if you guys weren't here, we would not have had this great discussion. I feel like today was more of a discussion, and it kept me and Jasmine in a well-behaved area, because Nick, you already know how we be cutting up on these podcasts, acting a damn fool, where we asking each other, why are we like this? So I feel like we were more professional today.
A little bit.
This was a good conversation, though. I feel like we cut up a little bit, but
honestly, I thought it was a great conversation. Listening to both Jasmine and Nick's, input, it kind of helps me out too, because I feel like I had more of a negative, look on dating, and I felt like from hearing both of your, your advice, your perspectives, that like things are like, this dating world is a little more normalized, but also like you guys gave me more of a positive perspective on it, and like you said, like just having fun and more realistic goals, or more realistic like I think that's so helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy that you have a takeaway.
While we all single. So that's the whole that part of it, right? So like we're coming from a space of we are still figuring it out. Like, and so what conclusions have we drawn from this conversation to say, are we going to get off this hamster wheel of dating? Like, I actually don't want to be on it anymore.
You have actually left the apps 19 times.
I have.
Me too.
Yeah. But then you always go back.
Unfortunately, same. It's a pattern. I'll delete it for a little bit, then I'll come back to it, and then I'm like, I don't have time for this. Bye.
I'll see the same people that were on there from before. I'm like, you still
here? But I think it's actually, to me, I think it's healthy to take a break. I do. I genuinely think it's all right. It's 100% normal to say, like, let me take a step away, right? I don't like it right now. To me, that is normal, right? And part of the reason to me it's normal is because, other than, it's like a relationship. Sometimes you need to take a break, right? Like, don't call me. I'll call you, right? Don't text me. I'll text you when I want to, So.
But it's like, where does that stop? Where does that cycle stop? Where it's like, okay, you get off of the apps for whatever reason. Maybe you got into a relationship. Maybe you're just sick of them. God only knows. And then you get back on. It's like a cycle, and it's annoying, is what I'm saying. And so
it's draining.
When do we, right? So how do we solve for this cycle where we say, because people always think they have options. So they're quick to cut people off. They're quick to end things. They don't want to, and by people, I mean me.
I was about to say, white people, do you mean you?
I mean, because there are options. I'm just saying.
I didn't say it.
Nick, me and you looking like she is people.
I didn't say anything.
I'm glad she said that.
Where does it end is what I'm saying. Where does it end?
Ask yourself.
Well, so my
I'm not the problem. They be the problem.
In therapy, my therapist has said multiple times is that you ultimately have to make a decision and stick to it. And that to me is one of the, that to me is hard, is consistency, right? So like the cycle, you get off the cycle when you or the hamster wheel when you want to. So if you genuinely want to, you have to make a decision and stick to it. Like, if I'm going to delete the app, okay, I'm going to delete the app. If I'm only going to be on one, I'm only going to be on one. And if that one you take a break from, cool. But like, you do have to make a decision. Like that's literally what it boils down to, is being able to say, like, okay, like, either I'm going to do this and invest the time, or not take it too seriously and jump around and or I'm not going to do it at all. And if you don't come to a place where you make a decision, then yeah, you're gonna jump on, you're gonna jump off, you're gonna jump on, you're gonna jump off. It's like you just keep going to the theme park. But eventually, so I think that's what it boils down to, is just making a decision and sticking to it. It's hard.
Damn.
That's
Jasmine said, damn.
I mean, literally. So I if I can be honest, and I know we're winding down, but like, I was having a conversation in therapy the other day and talking about not just having the options, but like just dating in general and how it can be draining, and trying to have a career and trying to do self-care and And I said something similar of like, you know, this is hard and I'm tired and he's like, yeah, you are, but also because you are giving yourself to all these things, and so ultimately you have to decide, okay, something has to change, right? And the something changing means you are making a decision to change it. So it's like, make the decision, stick to it, and that is the hardest part. That is the hardest part, is being able to be consistent and stick to the decision. When you cut someone off, you have to block them or move forward and say, all right, I am no longer going to subscribe to this person, to this thing, to this situation, whatever, right? When you pick up and move and you buy a new house, you sold the old house. It means it's no longer yours. So you got to go. So I think that's what it boils down to, is just making a decision. It's just hard to, number one, make the decision. Two, I think we all talked about it on here, knowing what you want. And three, then saying, all right, today I am committing to not going on the app. Tomorrow I am committing to not going on the app. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, until it becomes the thing. But if you don't make a decision and you don't stick to it, just stay on the wheel. Stay on the wheel.
Yeah, I'm tired of the wheel. I'm tired of the opposite. I'm sick of it. The crackhead on the corner eating tuna fish out the can.
You ain't tired of the wheel. She ain't tired of the wheel, but
she is not. I'm glad that you said that.
That's an episode for another day, child. I'm not doing this.
I am tired, but okay.
No, you're not.
All right.
You find some.
You're right. I do. That I do.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
Yeah.
So good.
This
Such a good
cool.
conversation.
This was so cool. This was fun.
Isn't it?
This is a lot of fun.
Karis was nervous. I'm like, girl, watch one of these episodes and look how me and Jasmine be cutting up.
Yeah.
So I sent her the medication episode where you was like, and dog knuckles.
I love that episode. I loved it. And then I told Tim, I'm like, you guys are just so laid back and so funny at the same time. So this is going to be okay. Not so bad. Not as bad.
Karis says she felt like that episode was meant for her father.
Oh, really?
Oh, it called out my dad so bad with the overuse of antibiotics, or like the doomsday prepper kit.
Expired.
How like you should have it in there. Expired. Yep. Calling out Frank. So
that episode was funny.
You should let him
the
watch
whole
it.
thing.
Make him watch it.
Healthcare Snitches is a safe space.
Yes, for all.
thanks, guys.
For everybody. Thank you, guys, and tune in next time for more Snitches.